Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Sunday. It is the 3rd of November 2024. It's closing day of the Belmont at the Big A meeting, but we're still back here at Aqueduct beginning to Thursday with the regular Aqueduct winter meeting. But we're going to look at the stakes races here on closing day from Belmont at Aqueduct. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me this week, Tuesday in Melbourne, but here stateside it's going to be Monday evening for my Melbourne Cup preview from Flemington. Looks like it's going to be an excellent race, so I hope you join me for that. But let's look at the stakes action here from Aqueduct. We're going to be looking at races 2, 6, and 8. So 2, 6, and 8. Let's get to right now the second race from Aqueduct. It's the Turnback the Alarm Handicap. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Race fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards here. We have a field of 5 horses taking a stroll around the main track, which is 1,800 meters in circumference, or 1.125 here on the Aqueduct main track. Gonna go with the 4-horse Evan Nikas as a top selection. I'm gonna go 4-3-1-2 in the superfecta. 4-3-1-2 super. Top selection of 4-horse Evan Dinkus. I can't speak, pardon me, it's been a long day. It's 5-year-old mare by Drowsmile here. Christoph Kamat trains. Joel Rosario gets to mount. They ran the horse most recently at Delaware on the 18th of September, mile 16th in the Obey Stakes, and he won by 1/4 lengths that day, and he closed into a pretty slow pace. He sat back early, he was a little bit wide, but he got the clear running room late. I thought it was a decent effort. 79 Bayer. It wasn't the fastest of his life, but I thought it was a very good effort. He really improved off the race porch, came at Laurel and the Caesar's Wish, mile 16th, 4th of August on the main track. He finished 3rd by 7/4 lengths that day, and he was wide, and he just never really got going. Maybe just a little bit too slow for that mile 16th that day. And then at Monmouth on the 15th of June, mile 16th, an official 16 claimer. He finished 2nd by 3.5 lengths that day. He was wide. He moved a little bit late, but the winner was much the best. Since coming here to the States here in the end of 23, they tried her on turf where she never really got going. Technical analysis, Speeder is a decent horse in the Athenia. Came back to running a one-turn mile race here last December where he had a decent placement, Hot Fudge, and then ran in early January in the ladies where she just never really got going, and then just ran some lull races. Came back to run an okay race at with the one-turn mile, but since coming back in the Mid-Atlantic, she's really improved a lot. Back to stakes quality horses, not the world's deepest race. I think she could find the winner's circle. I think the 3-horse Amanda's Folly is a decent horse here also. She won she placed in the Empire Distaff a few weeks ago here, or last Sunday here, where she ran a decent race a little bit wide that day. Prior to that, she wouldn't go a mile and a quarter at Saratoga quite nicely. She's coming off a very quick turnaround here today, but I think she'd get a piece fit. She likes this track. Let's use her in the early pick 4. But to recap my selection for the second from Aqueduct, it's the Turnback the Alarm Handicap. We're going to go with the 4-horse Evan Dikas. Give kudos to the 3-horse Amanda's Folly. 4-3-1-2 super. 4-3 in the multi-race. Let's get over to the 6th race from Aqueduct, which is the Pumpkin Pie Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Races for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards here. We have a field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs in the Pumpkin Pie. Not bad. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin soup, actually, but soup au potiron, which is a French pumpkin soup. Delicious. But pumpkin pie just is not my thing. But I'm going to go with the 5-horse Nick Styles, top selection. I'm going to go 5-1-7-2 in the superfecta. 5-1-7-2 super. Top selection, 5-horse Nick Style. This 4-year-old Philibert captured. Belmont trained. Junior Alvarado gets to mount. They ran the horse most recently in the Gallon Plume. Here at Aqueduct, 6.5 on the slops, 29th of September. Off the bench, he couldn't catch Ways and Means, who ran a disappointing race yesterday at Del Mar in the filly mare sprint. His horse just kind of sat with her and then just got overmatched by Ways and Means. Stepping down in class, getting the extra half furlong, probably a fast track, most likely a fast track. It was last day, it rained here in New York, it seems. But coming here to fast going, I think this horse could get a better trip than she did last time out. She ran 2 back in the allowance race for 110 at Saratoga, 6 wrong, 17th of August. Winning on the front end by 5 3/4 lengths. Off the bench, she put on a show that day. 98 Bayer. That was a very impressive race for her third outing. First off the nearly 9-month bench. She ran December prior to that at Gulfstream, 6.5, an optional 20 claimer for state-bred horses, winning by 10 1/4 lengths. Again, not the best beginnings early on where she got bumped around, but after that she got quarter horse to get good position on the front end as she kept going. A very good run, 109.3 for the 3/4. That was impressive, with that being her first start in a year and a half. You have to go all the way back to the 5th of May of 2022 at Gulfstream Park, 4.5 in the main specialty, where she won by 6.25 lengths. Basically on the front end, she won in a hand ride that day. A very, very good race. She's training well. Coming here back to stakes quality horses, she's lightly raced. I'm going to give her a shot on the ticket. I think if there's a second likeliest winner, it's still one horse, Just Catherine. I think the key with her was cutting her back last month at Aqueduct, going 7 in an optional 80, where she won by a half length. She saw a good place to close up into, and she did just that. A very good run. Getting Javier back up for the first time in a little bit of time. And stakes quality horses, I think she could win here. They tried her in the pink ribbon around the bull ring at Charlestown, where she ran a decent third place finish by 4 lengths. She moved a little bit late, but it's hard to gain ground on the bull ring. And then they tried her routing in the Chuvie, where she never really got going. If you take out the routing races and just look over her races where she's been running around one turns as recently, a little bit few and far between. But those one turn races are really competitive races. Coming here at 7-2, a logical prep race for the Go for One in a few weeks' time. I think she could win one of them either today or next month in the Go for One. But to recount my selection now for the 6 from Belmont, the Big A, it is the Pumpkin Pie. Going to take the 5-horse Nick Style. Give kudos to the 1-horse Just Catherine. 5-1, 7-2 Super. 5-1 in the multi-race. We're going to go to the featured 8th race now from Aqueduct. Used to be the traditional opening day feature at Aqueduct in the in years past for the fall meeting. But the 8th race, it is the Discovery Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. We have a very good field of 9 horses, an incredibly good field of 9 horses taking a stroll around the main track, which is 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 on the main track. I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here, Corporate Power. We're going to go 7-8-9-1 in the superfecta. 7-8-9-1 super. Top selection 7 horse Corporate Power. This 3-year-old colt by Curlin here. Shug McGahee trains. Javier Castellano gets to mount. They ran the horses most recently in the Travers at Saratoga, a mile and a quarter on the 24th of August, and he finished 6th by 18.25 lengths behind Fierceness, who placed in the Breeders' Cup. Torpedo Anna won the Breeders' Cup. Sierra Leone won the Breeders' Cup Classic, so got beat by some decent horses who ran very well yesterday. This horse just wasn't getting into it. It wasn't her day to win. His day to win. I think cutting back to a mile and 1/8, coming here to Aqueduct, where this horse ran very well in April, I think he could find the winner's circle a lot easier than he would have in the Travers. He ran the Curlin behind Unmatched Wisdom at Saratoga, mile and 1/8 the 19th of July, and he finished second by a length. The winner just had to jump on him. He was a little bit wide, but he got around the race course well off the 2-month bench. Not a bad race for him that day. And then prior to that, in the Sir Barton at Pimlico over Muddied Harrow going and over the mile 16th, went him by nose. He came from mid-pack. He got there in nick of time. A very good race for this horse there. And then mid-April here at Aqueduct on the soft going a mile and 1/8 in optional 80, finishing second by 1.25 lengths. The winner just had to jump on him. He was a little bit wide, but again, he got around the race course well. He won at Gulfstream going a mile and 1/8 in February quite nicely. Since then, he's run some good races. I think coming back to stakes quality horses, not the world's toughest race, he could definitely win. I think the 8-horse Tuscan Sky is interesting also for Todd and Johnny. Was a winner 2 back in the Pegasus quite nicely in the front end by half a dozen at Gulfstream. At Monmouth, came back to run the Haskell, where he just stunk up the place, just didn't break so well and just was outmatched by the others. But another horse, he had a very good beginning of his career at Aqueduct and came back to win at the Fairgrounds quite easily, beating Nash, who was a decent horse. And then he ran a stunker in the Wood Memorial. But he's another horse, I think, getting some class relief from his last few. Off the bench here at 5-1. I think he could possibly get a piece of it. Even the 9-horse Batten Down, another horse, it took him a little bit of time to get going, but he's been running these game-up races. Something that does scare me when he does win. He wins by a lot, but he wins when he has his own way on the front end. He's probably going to leave today on the front end, and let's see how far his pace goes, but broke his maiden at Churchill, going a mile and a quarter price, quite impressively, Derby week against older horses. Came back doing the Ohio Derby on the front end. He ran the Jim Dandy, where he just kind of was flat in the Travers, and then one on the front end going a mile 3/16 in the Bourbon's flight at Churchill quite easily with a very nice 99 buyer. He's training well also at 7-5. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins. Like I said, for an end of the season 3-year-old race, I think this race coming up very well, and I think a lot of these horses going to their 4-year-old campaign next year, you might want to keep an eye on a couple of them here that I just talked about. So I think it's a good one here to end off the Belmont, the Big A meeting. But to recount my selection for the 8th now from Aqueduct, it is the Discovery. We're going to take the 7-horse Corporate Power, give kudos to the 8-horse Tuscan Sky, and the 9-horse Batten Down, 7-8-9-1 Super, 7-8-9 in the multi-race. So good luck to them. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.